Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another powerful episode of Property Talk Live. So today's conversation rather is the one that can literally change the direction of your financial life. So if you truly understand it. And for today's episode, we are talking about the biggest lie about real estate. That is the biggest lie keeping so many people poor and making them lag behind in things they're supposed to do, especially with their mates or so. Now, this is not just a motivational statement, it's like the reality that we've seen over and over again. Because people with good income, hardworking individuals, even smart people, yet they are still stuck financially. And the reason we do not know. So I'm going to be talking about that one common lie that we all think about that is making our state of mind go backwards when it comes to real estate, because what we actually believe about real estate might actually be different from what real estate actually is. So believe control decisions, and your decisions controls your results. So today I want you to listen very carefully. I want you to reflect honestly, and most importantly, I want you to be ready to shift your mindset after today's episode. So, um, yeah, moving on. Like I said, the biggest lie is that you cannot venture into real estate if you do not have massive income, big money, like we all know. So, we need to understand this lie clearly, and then I'll break it down for you. Like I said, the biggest lie is that you must have a lot of money, so much money, before you can invest in real estate. This belief actually sounds logical, yeah, but it's completely misleading. And why I said it's misleading, this is because real estate is not only about buying finished houses worth tens or hundreds of millions. There are multiple entry points into real estate. There are there's land banking, there's off-plan investments, there's joint ventures, even instrumental based purchases. So you do not necessarily need to like have all the money before you can invest in real estate, because most people believe that they believe that you like I said, they believe the lie. They do not even try. They don't ask questions. They do not explore options. And they do not even take small steps to towards that dream of them having an estate. Do you get? So meanwhile, there are others that understand the system, and they are quietly acquiring their properties as time goes on. Over time, they are buying more and more properties because they already know how to go about their way. The truth is that real estate rewards those who start early, not those that wait to have everything before they invest. Because when people hear real estate, the only thing that comes to their mind is that they think of mansions, they think of luxury apartments, they think of high-end properties that are worth tens or hundreds of millions. That's what comes to their mind. So immediately they hear that, they just tell themselves, this one is not for me. This is not for me. This is not my thing. I don't think this is something I can invest in. But what they do not realize is that real estate is a system. It's not just a product. It's a system. A system that actually works if you're being careful and you know what you're doing. Yeah. So there are different levels, there are different entry points, there are different strategies that you can take to venture into real estate. So you don't have to start big. You don't need to start very big. All you have to do is to start right. Start at the right time. Start with the right step. Start with the right purchase. That's all you need to do. Because this misunderstanding of having big money before you can venture into real estate has delayed thousands of people from taking actions. Has delayed thousands of people from buying their dream home. And the psychological trap behind this lie is the belief that is, driven by social media or peer pressure or poor financial education. Because when you're not educated properly, there's no way you will not have that misconception. Because people only see completed luxury homes online, and they assume that, oh, that's the only way to participate in real estate. They buy a house that's already completed, that's already on the market, a fine house, it's already designed, furnished, and everything. That's the only thing that customers, because actually no one shows the process, the gradual journey, the instrumental payments, the sacrifices, and the strategy behind property ownership. All they show you is the results. And that's why you think that, okay, I've done the real estate is not something that you can venture into, or something that you feel like you want to invest in. Also, there are many people that were never taught how real estate work, like me, like you, before now. I mean before, yeah. So they only rely on assumption instead of information, because I never knew about real estate also, but I'm learning. Like you're also learning. And then these assumptions in real estate can be very, very expensive, especially if you do not know the right step and the right things that you're supposed to do. So I'm going to shift your mindset in this episode. And starting with that, once you believe that something is out of your reach, your brain stops looking for solution. Once you feel like, oh, this thing, I don't think it's something that I can attain. I don't think it's something that I can do. I don't think it's something that I can involve myself in. So you stop asking questions like, okay, what are my options? Are there flexible payment plans? Questions like, can I start small? These are important questions. These are little questions that you need to like think about, and then okay, you find answers to them. But instead of doing that, you automatically conclude that, oh, I can't afford it. You do not even make your own research. You do not ask questions regarding that property. And that one statement will shut down the opportunity of you taking over the property or acquiring that property. Meanwhile, there's someone else with the same financial level that you are, that is asking better questions and taking small steps to acquire that same property. But because you shut yourself out already with the mindset that you can't afford it or it's not for you, there's no way you intend to, like, you can move forward with that. And that's the difference between progress and stagnation. So there's a cost for waiting. When you believe that you can't afford something, you automatically remove yourself from the game. You're no longer playing that game because you're no longer in the market. You already think that, oh, this thing I can't do it. You shut it down already. Meanwhile, if you are persistent and then if you're persistent and then you like ask questions from the right people, there's you will definitely get that thing you're looking for. Meanwhile, while you are waiting, property prices will continue to increase and increase and increase because inflation continues and land will continue to appreciate. At the same time, opportunities will continue to disappear. And by the time that you're ready, the price of that land that you're supposed to get for lower, I mean for a low price, that's doubled or even tripled. So instead of getting in early and benefiting from the growth, you end up chasing the market. Because when you were supposed to ask questions and take the necessary step for this property, you didn't do anything. And that's how that lie keep you stuck financially. So now let's talk about something that most people ignore: the cost of waiting. Like I said, when you wait, it will definitely cost you a lot. In Nigeria today, property prices do not stay the same. Land appreciates, construction costs, demand rises because people are demand. There's a high demand for accommodation in Lagos right now. So when you delay for like 2, 3 years, you're not just standing still. You're moving backwards because there are things that you're supposed to have done and then take your mind off of it and move on to the next. You understand? But because you're not doing them, you're not just standing still, you're moving back because every other person is moving forward. A plot of land that you have bought for like 5 million naira today and become 10 million naira in a few years' time, even tomorrow. So now imagine that you're waiting because you think that, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough funds, I don't have enough capital to start or to venture into real estate. By the time you finally feel ready and you decide that you want to get a property, that same property will now be out of your reach because you will not get it for the same price. And then when you're supposed to like take advantage of the low price, you didn't do anything. And that's how people continue to chase the market instead of getting ahead of it. They continue to chase the market due to inflation, or property construction prices, cost, and everything. So this is one of the biggest reasons that makes people get stuck financially. Yes. So if you decide to invest in real estate as a smart investor, you need to do things differently. The truth is simple. You do not need to start big. You just need to start smart. Yes. And there are properties that you can secure with flexible payment plans. There are lands that you can buy at early stage. There are developments that allow structured payments. You do not need to pay at once. You can pay over time as time goes on while the construction is ongoing. Because smart investors, they do not wait to have all the money. They position themselves early and they grow into their investments. They start small with the little that they have. They buy off land projects, lands in a developing area with low price. They leverage time, information, and opportunities. All of this, they take it into consideration before investing in real estate. So, like I said, smart investors do not wait for the perfect condition. Actually, they plan smart, they act smart, they invest smart because they understand three key things in real estate, and that is number one, time. Time is more powerful than money in real estate. The time that you're buying the property, time you want to invest. Number two is the entry point. The entry point matters more than the size of that property. And number three is consistency because consistency beats perfection. Perfection. So while you're like investing bit by bit, construction is ongoing, there's progress, and then before you know it, you already have a very good result. That result, the dream home that you have in your mind. So they actually go with what they can afford because they are being very smart. It could be a land in a developing area, it could be an off-plan project, it could be installment based payments. Yes, because most of them off-plan projects actually they are time installmental based. Yes, so you pay a little percentage and then over time you continue to pay the rest because the goal is not to impress people at all. The goal is to like position yourself smart at the right time when you're supposed to venture into real estate venture at that time. So over time, these small decisions, before you know it, they begin to compound into significant wealth. So the first thing that you need to do to change your mindset is to stop saying that you can't afford it and start asking yourself how you can actually afford it instead of saying you cannot afford it. The second thing you need to do is to start with what you have. Even if it's small, it's better than doing nothing actually. There are properties, be it off plan or land banking or any kind of property at all, that have that are within your budget. So the third thing you need to do is to work with the right professionals, work with people that can guide you through a safe and flexible opportunities. So the fourth thing is to focus on long-term growth instead of short-term comforts. Focus on what the future brings instead of what you're feeling right now. Because real estate is not just a get rich quick scheme. It's a wealth building strategy. There are things that you need to plan, that you need to look out for, that you need to understand before you like decide to venture into real estate. And the earlier you start, the better your results. So moving forward, let's make this very, very practical. I'll be giving an example. If you do not have a huge capital, what can you do? As if you do not have a large capital to venture into real estate yet, what is like the next step ahead for you to do? What you need to do is look for properties with flexible payment plans. You do not need to buy that completed house or that land that is already in a already developed area. Number two is to consider land banking in fast developing area instead of a already developed area. Then partner with trusted real estate companies. Start with smaller units instead of luxury properties. You can start with properties in areas that are growing but not stagnant actually. So these are the strategies that people are using right now to invest in real estate. The difference is not the money actually, it's the awareness and the action. If you have the right information already, nothing is stopping you from investing in real estate. All you need to do is to take action. And then once you understand this, your approach to real estate will change completely. It will totally change. You see that the game will be different. And you see your stand where you are in your real estate portfolio and you'll be very, very proud of yourself. So think about people who bought land 5 to 10 years ago. At that time, the land felt very, very expensive to them. Like because due to the value of money at that time. But today, those same properties that they bought years ago, they've appreciated so much that even they can't believe it. Now, imagine if they had waited because they believe, oh, they didn't have enough money or they can't afford it, and they want to buy that same property now. You know how much they'll be paying to get that kind of property. In fact, some of them might not even be able to afford it again. They would have missed out on that property completely. So these are why you should make smart choice when you're about to invest in real estate, and that's exactly what is happening to many people today. But like I said, it can be avoided. That's if you intend to plan smart and then act smart. So let me give you a simple example. If there are two friends actually that have the same amount of money like 5 years ago, they decided to invest that money in real estate. So one was saying, okay, this money is too small for real estate. Let me wait until I can afford a bigger amount or a better price. The other one was like, let me start with something small. At least I'm not doing anything with the money. I might eventually spend it, which is actually true. So the other one decided to put the money in real estate, buy land in a small area. I thought, let me just use it to tie the money there. Fast forward to today, from 5 years ago or 10 years ago. The first person is still saving, still waiting, still planning. But the second person now owns a property that's appreciated. I mean, even if he has not like completely subscribed for the property, there are properties that allow plans for to resell and then you get your own percentage back. And if he has eventually paid for that property, because that 5 years is a long time, there's no way he would not have paid completely. By now, he's a property owner. And by the time he sells that land, he's going to be gaining over 100% of the initial money that I invested. And that's the power of breaking the lie. You need to shift your mindset. So in real estate, like I said, time is one of your greatest assets. Time is very, very valuable when it comes to investing in real estate. Because the earlier you get in, the more benefits from appreciation. Yes, from land appreciation, from the property appreciating, the more benefit. Because waiting does not make things cheaper. It doesn't. It makes them more expensive. What you would have gotten for 5 million yesterday, you eventually get it for 15 or even 20 million tomorrow. So instead of waiting to like have everything, start to position yourself now. Start to think smart. Start to think of how you can actually afford it instead of saying that you cannot afford it. Because in few years, you either be glad that you started or you wish that you had started that investment or you have bought that property. So if there's one thing you should take from this session, it is this, and that is stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting until you feel like, okay, now I can afford it, because you will never feel 100% ready. Even while you have the money complete, you still want to let me see if there's a better, or like let me see. You so many doubts to continue to come to your mind. So instead of waiting, you should start asking better questions. You should seek the right guidance and take small steps, but be very, very consistent, like I said, because real estate is not about who has the most money. It's about who has the right mindset and who knows how to like make their plans. It's about who understand the game and people that position themselves very early and they know when to start. Those are the people that real estate is meant for. And the earlier you start, the more advantage you have over other people that are not listening to this session right now. You have like you're like way ahead of them when it comes to like reasoning about venturing into real estate, like I said. So if everything I said today in this session has opened your eyes, then you should try and share it with someone that you feel like wants to invest in real estate, but you don't know when to start or they are unsure of how to start. So I hope that with these few things that I've discussed today, you have a shift in your mindset already about when and how to invest in real estate. So thank you for joining our session today. Please ensure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so that you do not miss powerful sessions like this next time. See you on the next episode of Property Talk Live. Bye.